Hi, welcome to Gamers Web. My name is Mark, and in this video I'm going to take a look at the Ironhead Squat Prospectors for Necromunda from Games Workshop. Let's check it out. Hi and welcome to Gamers Web. My name is Mark, and in this video I'm going to be taking a look at the Ironhead Squat Prospectors for Necromunda from Games Workshop. This contains a complete gang for the game, and this is the first time that the squats have been released in this format in a long time. Okay, so let's have a quick look what you get. You get 8 plastic squats, and on the back we get another look at what the squats are like, what they're armed with. So you've got one with a bio booster, one with an auto pistol, one with a power hammer, and one with a stone burner. And you can't see on the price sticker, but there's 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 of them, and they're all multi-part, and you can mix and match when you actually assemble your models. Okay, and there's also suggested paint scheme colours, using Citadel colours on the back. Okay, so I'm going to quickly open up this, and we'll get into it. And these are for the Necromunda Ash Waste campaign that has recently been released, and they are the first in a range of squat miniatures that are coming out from Games Workshop. These are actually squats. The ones that are coming out shortly are going to be the Leagues of Voltann. These are actually classed as squats. Leagues of Voltann are completely different, but they're still part of the squat Space Dwarf Empire. Okay, so these weren't bought for Necromunda. These were bought for something entirely different. These are bought for Stargrave, and they're also going to appear in my Forge Fathers army from Mantic Games for Warpath, and also Firefight and Dead Zone. Because, to be honest, I'm not really a king for Games Workshop products at the moment. Apart from the paints and occasional miniature, most of them, the game, I don't have time for the games. They're far too much bitching and backstabbing goes on in the community, unfortunately, and too many people who sadly know too much about games when they know nothing at all. But that's just my opinion. Okay, so what do we get? We get our Squat Prospectors Read Me First update, which shows you how to assemble the models. They're quite simple to put together. They're all multi-pose and everything's numbered, which gives you a really good way to put your models together. And you can mix and match pieces together on them. So we also get 8 bases, and then we get 2 identical frames. We'll look at these frames separately, but they are identical. Okay, so each frame consists of 4 models with various weapons like grenade launchers and stubbers and all sorts of things. So we'll have a quick look at those. And as mentioned before, these are going to go part of my Space Dwarf army, which is going to feature some old school Games Workshop squats, some hassle-free models, and lots and lots and lots of 3D printed models. And then when they actually come out, the Games Workshop squats, the actual Leagues of Voltann, are going to be mixed into this, along with some of the Kandarian Overlords as well, because that's the theme that I'm going for my army. Okay, so as you would expect from Games Workshop, the attention to detail on the sprues is fantastic. One good thing that I do like about these is they're not emblazoned with loads of Imperial heraldry. There's no Aquillas, there's no Inquisition symbols or chapter banners or anything like that. They are just prospectors, they're just miners. I would have liked them to actually have come with decals. That would have been much better, but unfortunately they didn't. Okay, so we have 5 helmeted heads. So there's the helmet head, and it's on a ball joint, so you can actually spin it round. Each of the heads seems to be have the visor up, and then there's another 2 there, and then there's the visors are separate. So you can put the visors down, or you can have the visors up. I'm going to try and assemble a couple of these. and show them at the side of some of the 3D printed stuff, and then I'll get into my 3D printed video and talk you through the process of that. So I shall be right back. Hi and welcome back. Okay, so I've assembled a couple of the models. I'm going to have a quick look at them and point out the bits and pieces that I didn't quite like and the things that I really did like on the models. On the whole, they're very good kits. I really like them. They do together quite well. It's taken like 10 minutes to assemble 2 models. They do need a little bit of cleanup, but they'll be okay. Right, so first one is the Prospector with Power Hammer, and as you can see, if I can get him into focus, there we go. The attention to detail is brilliant. He's got this throwback to the original squats on his waist, which seems to be a motif, which is like the heraldic, what shall I call it, the belt buckle, but it's a throwback to the squats of old. They were all very dwarven, as in fantasy dwarves, and it's like filled with runes and glyphs and stuff like that, but this doesn't have too many on it. There's no quillers or anything like that, which is quite good. I've put on one of his pouches, which was a bit of a pain in the neck to get in the right place, which I learned with my second model. I put the pouch lower down so it's actually sitting underneath the belt. He's got a mining laser which fits on the backpack. Now the backpack itself, you don't need to put the backpack on because the back's detailed, so as soon as you put the backpack on you lose that detail, and it only goes on one way around. There's a recess in the back of this piece here which allows you to fit in. I didn't get this leg flush, but it'll be alright once it's painted, and I've got a couple of spare backpacks, so I might put a backpack on that part there. But overall, pretty good. Animation, fantastic. From a company that's been making models for nigh on 45 years, 50 years, you wouldn't expect anything else. And they're one of the, it's no wonder they're like the world's leaders when it comes to miniature models. But that said, there are a few flaws. The biggest issue on the model itself was the power fist. Now, the power fist consists of 3 parts. You've got the arm, then you've got the fingers and your thumb. And if you are like me, I'm not in very good health. I've got quite bad shakes. I paint miniatures to relax and try and lower my blood pressure. It's really fiddly. It could have just been done very easily with 1 piece instead of 3. This harkens back to things like Atomic Mass Games with their legendary Captain Marvel and Shuri models from Marvel Crisis Protocol, where they had knee pads and elbow pads that were impossible to put on, and individual hands on 28mm models. It doesn't work. Small pieces don't work on kits like this. The next model that I assembled was this guy with 2 pistols. Now this guy I really like. If you notice his head's slightly different, I'll just do a quick side by side. I didn't put the visor on this one, I put the visor on that one. I thought that this one was going to be, that's going to be my first one because I'm going to paint him slightly different. He's my boss. This guy's just going to be hard as nails. That's why it's carrying 2 guns. Pouches went on quite well. Animation, fantastic, first rate. And there's his backpack, but he doesn't have the manual laser. And I do like the facial detail. It's spot on, perfect. Just what you really want. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple of side-by-sides. I've only got a couple of my collection here, but I've got a lot more which I'm going to be showing off in my squat video, which I'm going to be doing very shortly. Okay, so my first one that I'm going to show you, this is one of the Space Dwarf miners from the June Patreon bundle for Cyberforge, which is part of Titanforge. Now this is a 3D printed model that was done in Elegoo resin on my Mars 3. I'm just going to try and, there we go, get in focus. Very much influenced by Bioshock, as you can see with the helmet, with all the multifacets. This is not completely finished yet, this is just a testing of a colour scheme. And he's got a pistol in one hand and a drill on the other hand. And overall, nice model. Really enjoyed putting these together. Printed out loads and loads of different ones, and because of the way they're designed, the arms are separate, and the heads are the arms are separate, the backpacks are separate, so you can mix and match what you want to do. So they're like a multi-pose, so you can make unique units. It's quite cool. And I'll show you the side by side with this guy, so you can see that this is quite to say this is a squat model, just get it in focus, and this one as well. As you can see, there's a bit of a size discrepancy. This one's slightly way too big for this. He's almost the size of a space marine, but he's meant to be a dwarf. Although that said, they will fit in, and you could use them as like a heavier unit in your forces, which is what I'm going to do. And this one, this wee chopper, this is from Papsikels miniatures, sculpted by my friend Matt Teig. I really like this model. This model is just relaxed. He's a space dwarf. He's out for a walk. He's not got any weapons on him. I did ask Mark in an email on a Facebook message a while back that could he please leave some of the weapons, some of the arms separate, so they didn't have weapons in them, so I could actually use them in Stargrave as civilians and what have you. And as I say, the paint jobs are not the best. This is just me testing out colour schemes. I've done some more with different colour schemes. Again, this is modular. The torso and the legs are one piece. The head's separate. The head close-up comes with a visor. The hands are separate, so you can put weapons in instead of just having the hands. And you can mirror everything to give unique units. Really nice model. But when we put him aside our squat with the power armor, finish getting together, you can see that they're more or less the same size. Very, very similar. Head's slightly bigger on the 3D printed one, so you may have to scale these down by, I'd say, about 5% to actually make them stand next to the Games Workshop models. But overall, the proportions are very, very similar. Really nice models and print well. Now, I've got another series of videos coming up with my squats and my space dwarves, and also the Necromunda ones, and I'm going to be increasing this range when I get the new models from Games Workshop for the Leagues of Voltann once they're released, and I'll be updating the video with those. But in the meantime, I'm going to leave you some pictures and tell me what you think. I'm also going to include some models from Connie Mishu's Patreon, Konoshenku's Patreon, which is did a lot of space dwarves over the past 2 years, and they're very, very good, but they're more like the traditional space dwarves from Games Workshop. And I've got a couple of other space dwarves from Hassle Free and from a couple of other companies that I'm going to mix into my force, and I'm also going to have some Forge Fathers in there as well from Mantic Games. So this is part of my project for Firefight, and also for Dead Zone, and also for Warpath from Mantic. But because of the way the games are and the miniature, I'm going to use them in Stargrave. I'm going to be able to use them in 5 Parsecs from Home, as well as use them for 40k and other games, because I don't play in Games Workshop. I play with friends, normally with Roland, so we just use miniatures agnostic. We don't care where the miniatures are made from. So that's a quick look at the squat box. Overall, very pleased with it. There's a couple of fiddly bits, but nothing that if you take your time you can't get your hands around. Really worth picking up, but quite expensive. £28 for 8 figures is pretty expensive, even nowadays, when you think at 3D models. For the amount of money that I've paid for this box set, I could probably print 3 times as many models without even breaking a sweat. Of course, I've got to pay for the resin, I've got to pay for the printer, and I've got to pay for the miniatures files, but I've already got all those, so it's just swings and roundabouts really. But it adds depth and flavour to my army, which is what I want. So I hope somebody's found this of interest. Really like these models, and I'm looking forward to getting them on the table and getting them painted up. And I'm trying to come up with a unique colour scheme. I think these are using the new contrast paints, which I'm hopefully going to be testing out on Saturday at my local Games Workshop. Right, so as always, I've been Mark. Thank you for tuning in. No matter where you're in the world, please stay safe, look after yourself, and we'll hopefully see you soon.